how you mental math that solution. You just have to first of all realize that 400 times 400 is not just 16,000. I'm not overcomplicating it, Optimus. I'm literally doing what you just did. I'm literally doing what you just did, only instead of times it by 0.2, I'm times it by 20 and doing the division later. I'm literally doing what you just typed. No, oh my god, I'm not saying 160,000 for 420 times 420. And then I divide by 100 later to kind of get rid of the decimal. I'm just not fucking around with the decimal earlier on. God damn it. God damn it. It made sense in my head. That's how I would do it. I would ignore the decimal and figure it out later. I guess it isn't actually that difficult, is it? Yeah, now I think about it, maybe 420 times 420, 4.20 times 420 is easier. Alright. And this is why we don't do math on stream. You know, I used to be so good at like doing math in my head. And then you guys start talking to me. Oh, it's the pressure of being on stream. I'm being judged, man. Everything goes wrong. Bottom right hand side, our Red Pros player is HeroMarine. And his opponent top left from Mouse Sports is HeroMarine. And yeah, it wasn't 160,000. I was gonna get to the point where we divided it through by, you know, I just ignored the decimal point for a little while because in my head that's the easier way to do it. Why don't we do another math question? You know, instead of talking about the 2-gate pressure here, let's just do another math question. As Hurricane, he is actually going to go pretty aggressive here, I guess. 2 gates already is kind of different. So it's going to be a lot of aggression. Proxied Stargate as well, I assume, in the next few moments. And as Stargate comes on down. So, setting up in towards this, the engineering bay coming up in the main factory on the way down as well. What's Euthermal Vince plus Euthermal Swag? I think that's called a Euthermal Vag. Okay, maybe not. I was gonna go for Euthermal Swins, but then the other way around went so much better. Yeah, okay, let's set up. Adepts are coming in. Let's talk about this game, guys. Let's focus up. Membership core coming on through. Again, ready to roll with this Adept. Obviously, the Stargate's still building, and HeroMarine's already having to retreat up into his main base. Nexus will come down behind this from Hurricane. Looking to see what else is going to happen here. As we're going to be seeing the... Oh yeah, and just Mothership Core already working its way through this depot with these Adepts. This is nice. SCV's come forced to repair, but I mean... Oh, I guess you lose an SCV and keep the depot, but he does have the Cyclone, so it's about time. I was going to say, is it worth losing SCVs just to keep it alive for a little while longer? Well, I didn't think so, but obviously the Cyclone was timed out nicely to actually be able to push this away. And now, nothing really lost so far from HeroMarine, which is important because he's going to need everything he can get together to help defend this Oracle, which has just popped out. Actually currently waiting just a little while longer. Void Ray on the way as well, so continued aggression here at the moment out of Hurricane. Gonna keep on being aggressive for now. Keep on being aggressive for now. Thank you very much, Greyhawk, for the $4.20 donation. Just in case I needed to say 420 any more times in the last few minutes. I'll read your message after this game. Just gonna be I don't actually have my tab open right now for the donation messages, so we'll focus on this game because it's going to get interesting, right? Like a Void here. I mean, the Oracle's still not being used. It's still just sat here, and I guess HeroMarine still doesn't really know about it. Oh, he did see the Stargate. How weird. How weird. 2 extra bunkers coming up, so he's just going to defend against this, obviously. So we've seen a nice force field. We've seen a Cyclone getting picked off there, so Cyclone does get taken down, and again, just poking and prodding forwards. Cyclone lifts up once more, drops back down, Viking in the sky. Sono works its way through this Void, and actually doing quite a bit of damage. I mean, this is really worthwhile. He's going to get the Viking kill, actually, and he gets the Cyclone. The Void Ray stays alive somehow. Void Ray on 1 hit point is going to get away. Oh, don't go and fight again. Wow, what a trade by Hurricane. 1 hit point left over. That's kind of insane, as we're going to see HeroMarine continue to gather together with a few more units. can see this Oracle coming up to the top side here from Hurricane, just going to be maybe thinking about finding another way in to do some more damage. A few probes behind. I mean, in general, I don't think this has worked out well enough for Hurricane. I don't think he's actually found enough overall. As we're going to be seeing the again, the few units just gathering up together and looking to see what sort of position they can get themselves into. Robobay, Twilight Council, and a Forge all on the way up now from Hurricane. At the same time, HeroMarine is going to counterattack with a drop, and the Overcharge is not in a position to abuse that drop, or to shut it down. Maybe not abuse the right word. Not in a position to shut it down. We're going to see these Marines coming in and going to be able to pick their way through for more. They pick their way through a few more probes. Medevac comes up the right hand side again, just going to be backing away there, and again just going to be seeing the yeah, I guess the Void Reactor is going to get picked off. Still some nice pressure though. This Oracle is just sat above the Terran main base. I guess we'll revelate something. Hurricane picks it up and sees not really much going down. Again, Hurricane didn't really do any damage to this, to this kind of economy of HeroMarine early. He just picked away at a few works and traded off a little bit. But you still find some more now, some SCVs, etc. Still down a little bit in the work count, and it generally is HeroMarine favored with the mules combined in there as well. But still, Hurricane's still not too far behind to catch back up and to get rolling once again in this. It's going to be seeing the Colossus on the way out of this robo. He's going to play Colossi in this PvT situation, which is fairly standard. He has to transition into Colossi, get some reliable splash damage onto the map. See here, HeroMarine is going to knock down these rocks and block off access to his natural a little bit, make life a little bit easier for himself. As we're going to be seeing a couple of refineries getting built, third base coming down, and both players macroing on up into their mid game at this point. Like the tropical feel of this map, feels like a good place to die. Well, that's what that Oracle can remember then. He gets to lie in peace next to this barracks. God damn it. Such a beautiful place to die, and then you die next to the one industrialized part where you can't even sleep at night because there's just tech labs whirring away, upgrading combat shields and stuff. Constant reminder of the war you died in, literally in your death. It's horrible. Anyways, combat shields coming on up, stim coming through as well. That +1 going to be finishing shortly. And again, everything just setting up nicely. The overall game plans here will be for Hurricane to just build up into that nice large army and look for the kind of, well, very strong, major fights. From HeroMarine is going to be a bit different. He's going to be looking to try and drop around. He's going to be looking to drop a bit, pull his opponent apart. Heading towards Liberators later on. Liberators are very interesting on this map because there's a lot of very narrow choke points where 3 or 4 Liberators suddenly become very powerful stacked up together. But it's also very interesting because there's a lot of pathways you can open up to switch pathways and to make the Liberators reposition. And that can be very important in one of the ways which you deal with the Liberators here later on, or at least deal with them initially while you build up into Tempest and all the rest of it. Still a few probes going back and forth, just mining away on what is the upcoming 4th base here. Probes will expand a bit faster, generally being the less efficient army in this matchup. Moving on through, we're going to be seeing Hurricane is going to be in a little bit of trouble house because HeroMarine is actually pushing quite drastically right now. Just going to quickly bring up the Solar here, mana matchup. You can see that the Mutalisk and Ling play is going to be overrunning. It looks as though that's going to be going the way of Solar in the next few moments. In fact, there it is. Victory for Solar in Game 1 of their series. Meanwhile, though, do you see this Bioforce setting up and pushing forwards? Remember, there's not really a proper answer to Colossi here. This is a very dangerous position. If you could kill those rocks... Oh, Hurricane, what are you doing? Losing a Colossus already. You kill those rocks and crush those tanks. That could be pretty huge here. You're going to see pylons getting taken down. The Forges unpowered before further upgrades can come through. Keeping the upgrades equal for now. Marines continue to get to work, more of them coming on through this position. And right now, you can see the Hurricane is in a bit of an awkward spot where he's kind of just pushed away from being able to defend his natural, and obviously that becomes a bit of an issue very quickly. Fire still sims on 4s, now Forge is straight up just dying. Disruptor comes out, doesn't hit too much though. The Colossi falls as well, just everything on this natural is going down. There is not an answer right now from Hurricane. He has no counter-attack presence, and this tank Liberator position is just too difficult to break through. Nexus gets taken down. Just going to be seeing the Again, the bio here just going to spread out a little bit. No Disruptor shot or 2 comes down. HeroMarine splits and doesn't take any real damage from it. This army's going to push on in, but towards a death trap, honestly. So many tanks, Liberators as well. There's no way Hurricane makes this fight work out for himself. He's down upgrades when it happens to, and that's GG. HeroMarine taking game number 1 with this best of 4s and 2s and 0s all over the place in this stream right now. It's getting a little bit crazy. A little bit crazy. Alright, guys. Bottom right-hand side of the map. Down 1 game in this best of 5. Our Blue Protoss player, give it up if you're cheering on Hurricane. He's going up against the red Terran player from Mouse Sports. The upper left-hand side, it's HeroMarine. And he's 1-0 up, looking to try and take it to a 2 advantage onto match point nice and quickly here today. Moving through this group. Sorry, not through this group, but through this lower bracket. It's a long, treacherous run. Can HeroMarine make it? After this, he plays the winner of Mana versus Solar in lower bracket round 3. Win that, and you're through to the lower bracket finals, where you play the loser of Saul Harston. And then, of course, the grand finals comes in after that as well. Secret of life is 42, ... 420. God, can we just drop all the 420s? It's just insane right now. It's just unstoppable. As you do just see this probe coming across the map to see what's going on. A little bit of a scout here early on by Hurricane to get some early information, pick up some early facts about what is going down from the Terran player. Checking it is going to be an expansion-based play rather than maybe some sort of proxied factory or so. You're going to see that depot going to be lowered. SCV will build up the command center there. And the probe is just going to be backing away for now. Not going to try and be any further, annoying any further. Just going to keep on and pulling back towards the bottom right-hand side. Suppose back to the lower right. Meanwhile, yeah, and I mean Nexus is on the way up for Hurricane as well, right? Nice standard setup here in the early stages of game number 2. Not much to shout about, not much to scream about. Very simple stuff. Very much so as we expect this to be going so far. If you're just tuning in, guys, I see the viewership is actually rising quite nicely. So hello if you're just tuning in. Great to have you with us. This takes Penthouse Party number 3. HeroMarine vs Hurricane is a lower round 2 match. Today we've already had 2 players eliminated. Reno and Calazur have gone home with just $175. These players have been knocked out of the winner's bracket. The only players left up there is Harstum and Cyril. They've been playing pretty darn good all weekend long. There's been a 3-day event where some players play offline. It takes Penthouse, hence the Penthouse Party name, and some players play online, hence why we have players from Korea, Europe, and America, and all sorts competing. And yeah, it's been a very fun event. Definitely check out the TvP stream if you haven't already. They're raising money for their home story cup as well, just to try and fund some extra players and bits and pieces and so on. They're just having a party in general. It's called the Penthouse Party, and they're definitely making a party out of it. So obviously, big shout out to TvP putting on this event, giving us something to cast here over this weekend. It's been awesome, honestly, to have something to cast, because it's been, October's a bit of a quiet month. It's kind of weird where a lot of the offline tournaments start to wrap up, but BlizzCon's building. So it's kind of weird because no one really wants to kind of like run it on, many online events, because people are getting ready for BlizzCon and stuff like that. And people don't want to play so much online stuff for a little while. Reaper does get taken down by those adepts, though. Very well played there. Opening from HeroMarine is going to be a second Rex moving to attack lab. His Vikings on the way as well. Very passive opening, a defensive opening from our Terran player. Yeah, we must have a Widowmine somewhere, right? He does. There it is, in the natural expansion. Just couldn't find that for a moment or two. Widowmine is here then. So far the Oracle hasn't been found. Just the Reaper, the only thing to have gone down so far this game. Oracle comes in, and we'll find obviously an opening where there's not going to be much to defend, but the Viking will come on in as well, and we'll start to push this back. It's going to get damage done to the Oracle, just to make it think twice about coming back in again. So a couple SCVs is a couple SCVs, and something which Hurricane will be leaving with a smile on his face. Twilight Council is on the way up. Hurricane is let me stand up into this here. Factory dropping on down, and again just going to be seeing the I mean, this follows, just the way this kind of goes in general. Obviously, looks pretty simple. Double reactor tech lab means he's going to go very heavy on the marine count for now, rather than marauders. It means his combat shield is not going to come up super quickly either, because he's just on the one tech lab. There's a different way to play here for HeroMarine. When you're up to 3 reactors on Terran play, you have 2 very common setups, which is the 2 reactor, 1 tech lab, and the 2 tech lab, 1 reactor. Obviously, is the other way to go. Triple reactor never really makes much sense on just 3 reactors, because you do generally want to get stim and combat shields. Obviously, triple tech lab doesn't really make sense because no army made of pure marauders is usually going to be worthwhile. So to go double reactor is kind of the variant you go for when you're not afraid about your upgrades, so finishing a bit later. It's the variant you go for where you're looking to make a lot of marines and just have a lot of straight up damage output in your army. Although it's going to be very squishy, it's going to be killed very easily. So the Kirk is, it's almost the perfect sort of thing to do against a Stargate opening though. Because initially with a Stargate opening, you don't have a lot that's going to be very good at killing just a lot of marines. You don't actually have a lot, but you need kind of marauders brought into your army forward to tank, etc. That is exactly what marauders really do in the kind of TvP army. They do a lot of tanking. Well, most armies, they do a lot of tanking. They're much tankier than marines. Obviously, they do some good damage somewhere, on some units as well. They do good damage in general, but compared to marines, they are generally DPS lots to fit into. It's all about keeping your army alive. If Phoenix gets targeted down here very quickly, wouldn't mind brought back behind this set of force fields as we see HeroMarine just thinking about how he wants to maybe play this out. I just want to sit here rather than Hurricane. Rather than pushing up in towards Hurricane. He has just finished +1 attack. Remember, no combat shields as 2 more medevacs comes out across. And again, mostly just pure marine right now. Very flimsy army if he does let those charge lot stuff charge on top of him. Solid composition here coming up from Hurricane with charge finish that you don't really want to see. Kind of like attacks against, because charge-lots are just so good at shutting down this aggression in the early stages. You really don't want to kind of be pushing into it. As we're going to be seeing, well, here we go, he's going to push anyways. But it minus the Edinburgh, I guess the +1 attack is doing a very good job. Maybe just not enough zealots in general. As HeroMarine can get up this ramp, he might be able to put an end to this game right now. I mean, honestly, so far it hasn't felt as though Hurricane's had very much at all. An overcharge is going to be used. The Widowmine goes off, cracks a couple of zealots. That pylon should maybe be targeted down. He might just let it go for now, even though a couple of extra zealots will come in. Another Widowmine goes off. Now that pylon's going to get killed. It does cancel 2 of the war pins. Oh man, sentries are going to go down as well, and there's just nothing right now from Hurricane to stop this. Pulls back now, HeroMarine away from that overcharge again, playing it safely. But now Liberator's coming through. He's already bullied his way into such a good position. We're going to be seeing the Libs going to continue to push on forwards as well. Fire still working their way through this. Couple of Widowmines will burrow once again. And HeroMarine looking so good right now. Hurricane's on a bit of a losing streak, guys. 0-3 against Holston, and now going to be 0-2 down against HeroMarine. Can he pull himself together to make this work out? Again, these Marines just too high in numbers now. Even though the upgrade's finished for the Protoss player, it's just not going to make enough of a difference. Phoenix is going to get targeted down by these Marines. A couple of Zealots warping in at a time just are not going to be enough. Marine Liberators are joining the fray just to make this even more difficult for the Protoss player. It's going to be GG. HeroMarine goes up 2-0 in this series. Guys, Solar has just gone up against Mana 2-0 now. And so Solar leading 2-0, as is our guy in this Terran vs Protoss here. To the upper right from Mouse Sports, HeroMarine. Up 2-0 in this best of 5. And to the bottom left, our red Protoss player. It is Hurricane. Can he bounce back from what's currently a 5-loss streak in this tournament? 0-3 against Awesome. 0-2 now against HeroMarine. He battled hard to make it through Raynor initially. But this could be the end of the line for him if he doesn't find something very, very soon. He will go home with at least $300. The losers of Mana Solar and HeroMarine Hurricane go home with $300 apiece for top 6 in the event. Guaranteed $400 for making it to top 4, $500 for third place, $900 for second. Grand Finals victor will take home $1,600 first place prize. Hurricane is going to once more open aggressively here to the top right hand side. He's going to expand with the Nexus initially, but he is still going to throw down a fairly quick Stargate. And as we set this up and get ready to go. So, yeah, just waiting to see how this Stargate plays out. Of course, over from HeroMarine will be a Tech Lab Barracks, so it's a 2-on-1 opening, which means a lot of Marines early, and against a proxied Stargate, that can turn out to be pretty darn awesome sometimes. So, we'll see how this plays. See what's going to happen. Well, on the way up, obviously, if HeroMarine can deflect this encounter with the stim pack early in the game and the couple medevacs, well, that would be, that could be pretty crazy. So Oracle is about to pop and will start making his way towards the upper right-hand side. This Adept can take a shot or two as well. Here we go, the Oracle flies on in. Now, there isn't enough Marines immediately here to deal with this. He's going to start stutter stepping. He gets Marines on the high ground as well. Is it enough? No, it isn't. SCVs will at least kill the Adept on the low ground. A couple more Marines actually going to make this okay. 4 workers killed so far. And again, remember, Hurricane does have his own Nexus at home here. So that's something that is going quite well for him. Another Adept coming forwards, and I actually have to see here, HeroMarine just pulling up to his high ground. He's actually going to pull SCVs in, but another Oracle. And again, the units which he needs are just not there just yet. There we go, the Marines just not really sure what to target fire. And this could be a pretty quick win here for Hurricane now, and game number 3 to get himself back on the scoreboard and to get himself rolling once again. Oracle's still working away this one. Just sat there ready to come into play whenever it can. And the engineering bay comes up. Missile turret not ready yet though, obviously. And more Oracles just being built. 2 more Stalkers and a Adept warping in. I think the reality is we can see it's not going to be long until we see this push up to try and just end the game. Stim will finish soon. There will be some medevacs, but is there enough Marines to really contest any of this? I don't really think so. Oracle. Ooh, this Oracle messes up and does go down for just a single Marine, so that's something. Stalkers. And Adept and start moving forwards, and here we go. Going to start trying to break through this ramp. Marines on the high ground. Help to deflect. Meanwhile, Hurricane just takes the third Nexus behind all of this. And this game becoming a disaster so quickly right now here. Game 3 of the series. So that drops. Adept goes down as well. WardiTV does burrow. There's the WardiTV burrows again. These Stalkers. Not too sure what they might want to try and get up to. They might just get taken down though. Again, they're just poking and prodding these Stalkers, trying to see if they can push this back. This is where a Marauder would actually be very useful. Going to make a Cyclone too. Marauder would be so awesome at this stage. Just to have a bit of extra range for something a bit better, poking those Stalkers backwards here. And Sim forwards again, going to try and get the Stalker kill, but instead this loses a Marine. Now 2. Call down supply. A risky maneuver putting down a call down supply on the top here, because obviously if he loses that, it's so much, and obviously it's a bit of a precarious position, but he's already called down supply in the back. I guess not really worth Mulan in the position he's in. Oracle's threatening to come forwards here. Cyclone now taking some damage. Marines load up. But he doesn't load up the Cyclone. I just don't really know about that. Another Cyclone starts. I mean, HeroMarine is just desperately going to try and cling on here. He's now going to pull SCVs into this. I think this is really just already going out of control though. Hurricane looking to bounce back and to make a return. We're seeing these Stalkers continue to fight, and we're just going to be seeing the... Again, Stalkers able to keep on pushing back the medevacs. We'll see, at least for now, Hurricane not quite able to kill HeroMarine, but it might just be a matter of time. Blink on the way, +1. The fact he's got a third base, extra gateways too. You see Cyclone Marauder push on forwards as well. And Stalker's taking a little bit more damage here. We're just going to be seeing the... I mean, it's going to try and fight. I mean, I like the idea of HeroMarine trying to push forwards. Probably the better chance he has, but it's just not going to be enough. And that's going to be about that, I think. This Oracle gets turned away. I mean, you just keep pushing forwards. There's just so many of them. Nice micro by HeroMarine again. Nice lift up micro. So again, really do some good damage. And to, again, do more with his units than he maybe should be. In fact, HeroMarine to the point where he's actually going to turn this around. Wow. Nice little counter play just there by HeroMarine. Then the micro actually helped him out enough to stay alive here. Even that I didn't think was going to be enough, as you're going to see. Well, now the Cyclone will not get picked up this time around. And we're still just seeing kind of a lack of use to keep on pushing through this. Marauder gets targeted instantly by these Stalkers this time. HeroMarine about to be kind of running into issues though. You know, Blink is about to finish, +1's about to finish, and suddenly these Stalkers become a lot more viable. They become a lot better at trading. As we're going to be seeing the fourth base of the Pros play continuing up as well. More and more gates coming into the play, and obviously just more and more Stalkers in general coming through. It doesn't really need any sort of tech switch, honestly. He just needs to make enough stuff, and he'll overrun here. Which, based on his income advantage, should be relatively easy to do. Obviously with Blink as well, these units are way more vulnerable, or way more kind of usable than before. You can attack better with them, you can defend better with them. You'll just, in general, get more out of them. Blinking back as they get to low health. That's the GG. Hurricane takes game 3 to put himself onto the scoreboard. 2-1 now, off into the winning position. Bottom right-hand side of the map, our blue Terran player. Give it up, guys, are going to be cheering on Mouse Sports HeroMarine. Playing against the red Protoss to the upper left-hand side. It is Hurricane. It's going to be HeroMarine to proxy here in game number 4. Going to bring his first SCV across the map. Going to be throwing down this barracks. This barracks comes down and just going to be seeing the initial setup here. Not going to be anything too ridiculous. Probe coming in through for the center. Probe just coming up towards the upper right, lower right to scout. We'll see the lack of the barracks, and obviously seeing the lack of the barracks gives them the opportunity to send this racks up into the main, or to kind of figure out that there's a racks here getting ready to rally Reapers into the main. And because of that, Hurricane will not throw down the Nexuses, instead take second gas inside the core, so a little bit earlier. So let's see what HeroMarine can do with this. His factory will probably build at home, is the very common way of doing this. Factory at home and then starport still proxies out on the map is a possibility. To go into proxy called Banshees, a Liberator. There's a few different ways you can do it. Probe comes around. We'll see this barracks now. Just sees the one racks, gives them a good idea of what exactly this is. Again, this SCV just pulling away from the main base too. So there you go, Reaper pops up and is going to move on in towards the main. Maybe starting to work its way through some bits and pieces, obviously mainly the probes. You can get a couple probe kills. You'd like to get at least 2 or 3 worker kills with this Reaper. And you're already slowing the Protoss player down a little bit. Got a second Reaper on the way out as well, remember, as they start. And we'll just be able to count forever. Boy is on the way out though, and that makes it much more awkward as to where this Reaper can and cannot go. Pulls down to the low ground, but still no worker kills. Second Reaper about to pop and join the fray. Again, that factory building back at home. Yeah, CV up here running around with the opportunity to build a starport, I suppose, if you would like to. We'll see what that starport builds. There's plenty of gas to invest into the starport, so obviously it would make sense to. Like this as well, just going to use the barracks for the high ground vision, allowing them to be a little bit safer with these Reapers before jumping up, etc. So just making the most out of that, as we do see a cycle on the way, and the starport will come up to the right hand side, but a probe is going to find that starport, so already Hurricane knows about it, and that is some good information for him. I mean, you know a starport's going to come up. It's just a question of how soon are the starport units going to be able to hit you. Reapers just spread themselves out, looking for maybe a counter proxy by Hurricane, who is now beginning to expand HeroMarine 2, although not on position, but in his main base, just playing a little bit more safely here compared to his opponent, who doesn't really have a choice about where he builds the expansion. He can't just float down Nexuses to low grounds and so on. Tech Lab on the starport, so looking for a Cloak Banshee player here. As just as a quick update as well, do have a final result for you guys from Solar versus Mana. Not really anything too unsuspected. Solar was obviously already 2-0 up. And just to show you kind of how the game ended, just a bit of a, well, kind of a very aggressive game. Link Queen drop and Link Flood Queen drop sort of combination. That came on in and, well, killed off the Void Ray, killed off the pylons, accessed the natural. And their mana just didn't have any units left over. He's building 3 oracles at a time, but they just could not do enough to hold on and to defend that. And so mana did drop out of game. And it is going to be Solar to go on through to the next round of competition. Mana still takes home, though, $300. As we previously mentioned, he was going to finish top 6 here at the very least, so it's good to know as this Oracle comes on through. First Banshee is out, going to move forwards. Now the Phoenix is going to go looking for that Banshee over the next few moments, try and do a little bit more damage. Phoenix just going to be actually finding this Banshee. It doesn't have Cloak just yet. In fact, it's not going to have Cloak at all. Banshee is going to go down. Hurricane, good shut down here, and so far HeroMarine is not being able to do anything just yet that he wanted to in this game. And this is really him going to start falling apart here. Cancels the second Banshee, cancels the Cloak. The thing is, one of the things with the Cloak Banshee play is that it can be okay, even if you even if your opponent has an Oracle out to protect, because the Oracle only has so many Revelations. Use the first Banshee before Revelation is needed. Suddenly, you don't have that on your side anymore, and it becomes a very different situation. Starport goes down, and honestly, this could be just a push through to end this game. There's 2 Phoenix here, which means you can lift both of the Cyclones, and other than that, there's not really anything else on the map. 2 Marines is going to be all that's left over to keep on fighting. The Oracle gets rid of those. And now the 2 Cyclones that are left are going to start being repaired, but the SCVs are dropping, and obviously there's only so much time until it's just going to be too much. GG! Hurricane's going to bring us into game number 5 here in this best of 5 scene. Let's see who's going to be able to take it and move on through to play against Solar. Solar did lose out to Hurricane yesterday. It would be interesting to see that rematch. HeroMarine lost out to Solar earlier today. Could also be an interesting rematch. I think the Hurricane Solar series would be a bit closer. But let's see. Currently fighting for place in the top 4. To the bottom right hand side, our red Protoss player is Hurricane. Top left, the blue Terran. It is Mouse Sports HeroMarine. Alright then, setting up, getting ready to go. Getting ready to jump on into game number 5 of this series. Nexus coming down early from Hurricane, going to be going into negate Nexus core build order. Nothing too strange or unordinary about that. River Expand coming out from HeroMarine, so back to fairly standard build orders here. No proxies just yet. It could still be some proxies, but just so far, fairly standard, fairly straight up, and pretty simple about how this is going to end up going. So all of this getting rolling so far here, as we do see this probe just pulling on down towards the lower right hand side to see what's happening there. Factory on the way up from HeroMarine 2. Getting that set up and rolling. And again, just another Marine about to pop out, moving down in towards the center of the map. Probe to the left-hand side here for Hurricane, also just going to be positioning, seeing what's going to happen. Reaper coming up through the center. Also, once again, trying to see what's going to happen. And there's some bits and pieces continuing on right now. That factory is about 75% of the way done. Reactor coming up, and a rover facility open from Hurricane. So really kind of one of the go-to super standard ways to play this. No harassment, no real shenanigans. I mean, I guess you could Warp Prism in a lot of gateways or something, but apart from that, I mean, this is fairly, very much so as cookie cutter, as basic as it can get. No, again, not really looking to kill anyone early, not looking to do anything ridiculous. Just playing nice, safe, and simply. This Reaper going to run on around to see where it can get to. Robo facility is going to be finishing up in a moment or so from Hurricane. And again, this Reaper from HeroMarine just going to see where it does end up going. A couple of depths coming over, and HeroMarine not immediately ready to deal with this, and so might be about to lose some SCVs. Definitely going to lose some mining time here. A little bit back and forth. I like it so far. The Adept Shades actually come back into the main, or into the natural, I should say. See, well, the 5 Marines is going to try and fight this. He actually is going to get one of these Adepts very quickly. These Adepts maybe not turn around to fight as much as I thought they would. He'll get rid of 1 Marine there, and he will be able to shade away after 2 Marines killed. And I think an SCV went down in that too, but really nothing too crazy. Good defense by HeroMarine. Well, time well bought. A little bit of lost mining time, but better than letting the Adept thoroughly kill workers and just cause chaos. I liked it. I think he played that out well. And that comes into the main base now, and again, just abusing its mobility to be a little bit of an annoyance. We're going to see HeroMarine still not lifting that depot. No real reason not to, right? Trap it in the main and just actually be able to get a kill on it would be great. Instead, it just gets away yet again. And that one definitely is on HeroMarine. Robo Bay on the way up here as well from Hurricane. Try cancel. Was about to come down, but he actually decides to change it into a Forge instead. Third Nexus is now on the way from Hurricane 2, so setting up in this regard. And again, looking to see where he can go wrong here. Forge is on the way up as well. And as the extended thermal land's going to play straight into Colossi, so again, cookie cutter, basic, standard, nothing really too ridiculous so far here in this Protoss vs Terran game at number 5. It really is kind of just as normal as you can make it. Third CC from HeroMarine on the way up at the moment. He's just building that in location. Obviously feels fairly comfortable as he gets into stim combat and +1. His first medevac is on the way out, will allow him to start applying some pressure around the map, some drops here and there. And just looking in general to see what he might be able to get up to. Just going to be seeing T-Post continue to come down here. Marine just keeping up with his macro. As his Hurricane, slight supply block though is something that will hurt him. Sets up some extra pounds towards the third base for some MSC overcharged defenses. Over there we do see the first two medevacs loaded now. And here we go. HeroMarine going to come down through the left side of the map and look to see what he can set up in towards as we get this rolling. Just going to be seeing the medevacs coming down. Again, all the way to the south. And get ready to jump in towards the natural, perhaps. Just scan the natural. Just a bit of a pre-warning about what's going on. Actually sees a Colossus and a Sentry moving out forwards. He's going to drop in here at a perfect sort of time to shut this down. He's actually going to drop on top of the Colossus, which is obviously a little bit of an issue here for Hurricane. Loses this first Colossus. It's a great pickup by HeroMarine. Very well done so far. Still a Depth Stalkers and a couple of Sentries coming back towards the third base. I'm going to sit there and try and see what they can do. The Marine comes forwards and can't really find too much itself just yet. There's two medevacs coming through as well. Two more medevacs that will unload just on top of this army in the next few moments. Armory on the way up, another engineering bay as well for HeroMarine. Here we go. I like this. Gonna try and drop on top of that Colossus while also coming in with his units from the northern side. Kind of nullifies to some extent the effect of those force fields. Mothership Core can't really get towards the overcharges because it has to fly over the bio to do so. A bit of an interesting fight. The overcharge came down. Well, actually got killed off there. No Colossus kill. Killed the Mothership Core and a few probes though. Very interesting stuff so far. Both those medevacs will start to head back home, probably get repaired up before they come back onto the battlefield. Two full medevacs are going to replace them for now. They head over to the right-hand side, maybe some drop potential here. HeroMarine definitely looking for more drop play and straight-up fights at the moment. The more he drops around, the more he harasses himself into an advantage. Which then he can look to utilize whichever way he sees fit to do so. Stalkers nibbling away one of those medevacs there, and there we go into the natural as well. Mothership Core died, so even if it was back up, which it is, there's not a ton of energy on it, right? There's only going to be one or two possibilities. We're going to see, oh, this is such a beautiful position. Those Zelds are not in the right place at all. I mean, one overcharge available, sure, but you know what? Doesn't really matter. I mean, this medevac and some Marines and Rollers will go down. Killing the Robo is a huge pick-off here. Huge tech structure to get rid of. That's absolutely crazy. Medevac coming up the right-hand side. There's medevac from HeroMarine. Pulling back towards the upper left as well. Storm on the way up. 2+2/+2 upgrades as well. So we've seen that Robo facility coming on us also. Another Simulator coming down towards the fourth base, and Well, this game really is going into the macro stages, isn't it? 4 bases apiece now, both of them setting up in toward that, and both of them looking fairly comfortable to keep on playing out their positions. And Vax loading up again, relocating slightly, thinking about whether they want to keep on dropping or what exactly that choice is going to be here soon, I guess. Chronobus coming down, +2/+2 upgrades on either side. Slight advantage in the upgrades of HeroMarine, and maybe that's something he can make, you know, put to his advantage. He loads up all his medevacs. He's going to just go for mass drops around the map rather than building into like Liberators or Vikings. And the way to kind of deal with the straight up army, he's actually starting to build Vikings, but there's only 1 or 2 Colossi up. So he doesn't need that many. Overbuilding would be a big mistake for him here. You can see this observer just spots this drop coming down this right way as well, and so all of a sudden we are going to see our Protoss player starting to pull back to defend these multiple different locations rather than trying to push forwards. This Disruptor's not even going to get close to the Terran army. And while over here we're going to see the Terran able to make his way through this base, cancelled almost immediately. Zealots coming forwards to protect the Colossi and the High Templar here. Good micro by HeroMarine, who's going to get rid of all those Zealots. Over here he's going to start kiting backwards too. Good trade so far. Nice storm over in this position. Nice lift up actually. Okay, the medevacs still get stormed, but they don't go down. And of course, if they don't go down and the units are inside, well, the units have been saved. And so that's the more important part about all of this. Medevacs loading once again. So are Vikings on the way out, despite not really, I feel, being too many Colossi. Only 1 Colossus on the map and the second one building. And he's going up to what is his, well, 15 Vikings more or less. Maybe just 14, but still a pretty crazy number. Pushing forwards, these players going to clash into each other. In the next few moments, you're going to see a bit of Bio getting caught, tail end of it, just going to be being pushed away. Still a big drop setup over here. What's HeroMarine's plan? He's actually starting to pull backwards. Or is he just going to drop? You know, he could have dropped up here and just started base trade a little bit. Instead, trying to pull back and maybe just trying to take a straight up fight. He actually is going to unload on the high ground and at least come down here and cancel this Nexus. Or is he? He's actually setting himself up a little bit of a surround here. Some EMPs initially, doesn't hit the High Templar, hits everything else, but look at that Disruptor shot into the center there. Vikings coming in, I mean, they did their job already. There's 1 Colossus left, I guess, I'm going to try and get rid of. Bio kites backwards, the Vikings. Control keyed into that Bio Force, means that they don't target fire the Colossus any further just yet. Run forwards now, you'll get rid of that Colossus again super quickly. It goes down in not even a split second. Now the Vikings are going to drop as well. Storm on top of some of them helps shut them down before they even get into damaging position. Some feedbacks on the medevacs too. These High Templar really looking to use as much of the energy as they can. The Vikings, which land, don't really do a lot. They don't even get rid of a Stalker there. And that's going to maybe tilt things into Hurricane's favor. He's still pushing forwards. Is looking to maybe pick up victory in Game 5. He's got these medevacs on the run. Does he have Blink? He must have Blink, right? He does have Blink, but he's not close enough to Blink on top of the medevacs. Medevacs survive. A nice little play by HeroMarine there to snipe at least that High Templar, making the most of his situation. Still pushing forward to Hurricane. Now is he overcommitting a bit perhaps, because he doesn't have Zealot reinforcements. There's Liberators here too. He's also not really got any Storms left over. It's just pure gateway units more left. I mean, here comes a Disruptor. The Liberators here actually going to start taking some heavy damage. The Disruptor gets rid of a few of these units. Hurricane and HeroMarine are really just trading blow for blow at the moment. Every Liberator's gone down, but there goes the Archon. Now another High Templar can go down. That Disruptor is a prime target too. 4 Stalkers and a Disruptor remain. That's now 2 Stalkers. And the reinforcers are so much closer here for the Terran player. Pushing in, HeroMarine is going to get rid of the Colossus as well. The Storm comes down with Stalkers and Marauders and all sorts. What is going on? Marauders, there's like 3 of them left over, still fighting. High Templar's going to go down. They don't become an Archon. Zealots from the left-hand side though, and there's nothing left on the ground for the Terran. There's just a couple of Liberators, but he can pull back to further reinforcements, but he might lose a base in the process, as Hurricane is not done with this just yet. Bio going to come down. He's going to try and stop this base from being cancelled, becoming a planetary. This High Templar is exposed. It's going to go down, or is it? He doesn't find the target fire just yet. Stalker's reinforced now as well. Another medevac drops also, pulling backwards here. The Mothership Core has not really found a use. Somehow, some way, this High Templar remains alive until just then. Finally gets dropped. What a couple of moments by Hurricane and HeroMarine. Absolute mayhem. What on earth was that? That was crazy. Woohoo! Wow! What a fight. HeroMarine and Hurricane come out of this. I mean, HeroMarine on free upgrades about to be against free. 76 army to 48. We're going to be seeing this bio continue to push on forwards. Another scan coming down on top of this base, just seeing if this has been re-established multiple times here. HeroMarine pushing on forwards, looking to see what he can do. Try and take advantage of the fact that obviously the amount of tech units is going to be fairly limited right now. No Zealots in this to back this up. One of the big issues is going to kite away the Terran player. Can't kite forever if he wants to do damage though. The Stalkers continue to push forward. Zarkon's here too. The issue is right now for HeroMarine, he has a more army supply, but it's pretty much pure bio. Whereas the army of Hurricane is much better quality with Archon, Tide Temple, and all the rest of it. And we're seeing the Storm coming down again. HeroMarine does not engage into that. A couple of probes do drop also. Advanced Ballistics on the way up and upgrade, which could change things in favor of the Terran player, who's currently overstimming heavily. Oh, but look how many more medevacs and how much more bios just sat back here. Hurricane may really be overextending this time around, and here we go! The Terran turns to turn this into a concave! The storms don't matter, because there's just so much, and it's already on top of the Protoss army. HeroMarine crushes Hurricane here, and that is pretty much now going to be game. Before, defensively, you could understand maybe the High Templar, the rest of it could work out, but now there's just way too much. Hurricane got way too aggressive. He maybe thought he had more than he did. Maybe thought his opponent had less than he did. But this is pretty much going to be game, right? I mean, okay, there's maybe a few more High Templar than they fought back here. Let's see what happens. Hurricane is going to start storming. HeroMarine splits around, gets the full concave, gets the surround that he needs. And the storms will not do enough to save him here. HeroMarine is going to make it to the top 4 of the Takes Penthouse Party number 3. He'll get his earlier rematch. Well, he's got his rematch now from his earlier series against Solar from earlier today. That was a 3-0 in Solar's favor. We'll see if HeroMarine is warmed up a bit better now and ready to play some closer games. Because earlier on he did get a little bit stomped by Solar, I have to say, but this has been a pretty sick game number 5. It's been a pretty sick way to send HeroMarine through to top 4. GG. Hurricane finishes top 6.